never had it easy in WWE. I've had injuries. I was released twice, and just when I had scratched... I've never had it easy in WWE. I've had injuries. I was released twice, and just when I had scratched and clawed my way to the top, my in-ring career was over. I could have sat at home, satisfied with what I accomplished, but I decided that's not how I wanted my story to end. I wanted to show myself, my family, and anyone who's gone through adversity in life that you need to take on whatever challenges you face and fight for your dreams.
Well, we might as well get on the Daniel Bryan bandwagon.
The Miracle Kid! The Miracle Kid! 77,000 chanting in unison. Yes, yes, yes.
Right after I graduated high school, I moved from Washington down to Texas to train at Shawn Michaels School. It wasn't too long after that I was signed by WWE. When I first got signed by WWE in 2000, I had no idea really what to expect. Most of the guys on TV had been wrestling for years and years, and at that point I'd only been wrestling for 6 months. Since I was still really new to all this, I was sent to hone my craft at WWE's developmental territory, which at the time was in Memphis. Luckily, William Regal was a trainer there, and he helped me out a lot. So with the WWE contract and Hall of Fame trainers, Bryan Danielson
Welcome everybody to WWE Velocity. Cole here alongside Corey Graves and Byron Saxton. We kick things off with John Cena against a local competitor named Bryan Danielson.
I gotta say, Cole, I'm surprised Cena's not rapping at all tonight.
Well, that's because John Cena is focused. He's facing Brock Lesnar on SmackDown next week, and he's going to make an example of Bryan Danielson right here tonight.
A jarring uppercut. Back in control of Cena, right back to the arm.
Great strategy, weaken the more powerful Cena by taking away one of his arms.
Bryan sticking to his wheelhouse, not taking any unnecessary risks here against John Cena.
Just looking to control and neutralize the bigger man. Cena, though, back to his feet, and Bryan continues to work on the arm, but now Cena, test of strength, and you don't want to get into a power battle with John.
Absolutely not. Cover here.
And a kick out. And again, Cena powering Danielson down.
Oh, look at this incredible core strength by Danielson.
Cena cannot believe that he can't get Danielson's shoulders on the mat. Gonna try it again, and Danielson able to come off and send Cena flying. Incredible sequence.
Oh, man, Cena just took Danielson's head off.
As we say, sometimes there's no replacement for brute force.
John Cena with the offense. There's no coming back from that. Down he goes.
That'll do it every time.
Strong impact from Bryan Danielson. He's going for it all. Incoming.
Oh, look at this, raining down sharp elbows.
And there's a quick kick.
Panic starting to set in for Cena. This could be a huge upset right here.
I'm seeing shades of Razor Ramon on Raw in 1993, guys. A high fly. And nobody is about to beat one of WWE's best.
Cena is too distracted by Brock Lesnar on the horizon. He's got to focus on surviving this match.
He goes for the cover. And a kick out by Cena. Wow. John Cena is showing his strength there in the early going, getting the upper hand on Danielson.
Yeah, Danielson's got some technical skill, but he's starting to be overwhelmed by Cena's brute force.
I can tell you with all certainty that he did not anticipate his opponent.
If you're Bryan Danielson, what do you do at this point as he whips Cena across the ring?
Oh, Cena gets up a boot just in time.
And now John Cena looking to take over. Looking up, put Bryan Danielson where he wants him. And here's the cover. And he got him. Cena with the win over Bryan Danielson.
Here is your winner, John
Valiant effort by
Cena.
Danielson, but Cena was just too much tonight.
A hard-fought victory tonight for Cena. Gotta be impressed with Cena tonight.
A lot of guys would have parlayed competitive matches on heat and velocity into being signed full-time to WWE, but that's not how things turned out. It's like my wife Bree likes to say, if anything was easy for me, I wouldn't be Daniel Bryan. But before I could become Daniel Bryan, I was Bryan Danielson. And as Bryan Danielson, I went on A lot of guys would have parlayed competitive matches on heat and velocity into being signed full-time to WWE, but that's not how things turned out. It's like my wife Bree likes to say, if anything was easy for me, I wouldn't be Daniel Bryan. But before I could become Daniel Bryan, I was Bryan Danielson. And as Bryan Danielson, I went on quite the run through the Indies. Over the course of 7 years, I won my first world championship and had some amazing matches against guys who went on to become major WWE superstars. Guys like Seth Rollins, Cesaro, all sorts of guys all over the place. A lot of hardcore fans even say these were some of the best matches of my career. Personally, I credit these matches and opponents for helping me build the foundation I would later need to make it as a WWE superstar. Fans on the indie scene weren't the only ones who took notice, because in 2010, WWE re-signed me and Daniel Bryan was officially born.
My name is Daniel Bryan. I've been wrestling all over the world, and finally, I have an opportunity here in the WWE.
Although much like childbirth,
We're on the inaugural episode of NXT. The World Heavyweight Champion Chris Jericho taking on the Miz's rookie, Daniel Bryan.
I've been looking forward to this main event. WrestleMania is on the horizon, but tonight is a WrestleMania of sorts for all the NXT rookies.
Well, Daniel Bryan was excited earlier in the night to be out on the biggest stage of his life, but that was before he knew he was going to face the World Heavyweight Champion. He's going to have to learn to take Miz's advice if he wants to survive here.
Oh, elbow caught him right on the bridge of the nose. Daniel Bryan looking to attack from high. On a perfect perfectly executed dive. Work is being put in by Daniel Bryan. Doing damage with the knee now. I've got to say, I'm surprised to see Bryan actually testing the champion here a bit. It must be the inspiration from The Miz that's propelling this offense. Look at this. Northern Lights. He's looking to bring this one to the outside where things can get ugly in an instant. Oh, I think he's got the shoulders down. Digging deep for a kick out.
Well, unfortunately, yes movements don't die that easily.
Daniel Bryan has had compounding problems tonight, and the main one is standing ringside.
Yeah, but Miz isn't in the ring, Saxton. The World Heavyweight Champion is.
Got the shoulders down, and Chris Jericho avoids the early pin. Wow.
Now we have Daniel Bryan on the attack.
That'll have you worrying about. Long-term injuries for sure. He gets him with a reversal.
I'm still watching The Miz lurking at ringside. Oh, why is The Miz...
There's no way that Jericho's going to lose to this guy.
Yeah, but the way this match is going, it's a real possibility.
Jericho, though, needs a breather, and he rolls out of the ring to try to do that.
A wise maneuver from a wily veteran.
I'm not sure if Jericho's going to get much rest time.
What is this guy
Bryan
doing? Daniel Bryan, suicide dive right off the announce desk.
Looks like Bryan might have bounced off the announce desk himself.
I don't think Miz liked the fact that Bryan threw his body in harm's way, and I can't say I blame him. What's this guy thinking? Wait a minute. Nicely done.
Hey, Daniel Bryan's looked all right at times in this match. I mean, he's been showing us why he's a world-renowned for his ground and pound attack.
World-renowned? What are you talking about? What world are you talking about? He's been on the independent scene. It's the first time he's ever been on television. This guy's a goof. Daniel Bryan with a slick reversal. I don't know what he has planned out here, but he must be mindful of the referee's count. Back in from the floor. Inside the ring now. Wow, you can see this has hurt Jericho. He's definitely in trouble. And he breaks free.
Just when you thought he was out of this one.
He wants no part of the outside. Keep your eye on this one. Look out! He's inflicting some serious pain here. Oh, I think this man means business. I don't know what he has planned out here, but he must be mindful of the referee's count. Daniel Bryan's getting all fired up.
Daniel Bryan is playing to the crowd when he should be taking care of business.
I don't know what he has planned out here, but he must be mindful of the referee's count. Now back to the ring. Daniel Bryan with a great offensive show. To the outside, which will start the referee's count. Uh-oh, look at this. Nelson applied. 3. Guys, you're getting ahead of yourself. Look out. Be some sort of miracle.
Boy.
See, I told you.
Oh, boy.
This one's over now. Roll him into the walls of Jericho. Tap him out, Chris.
Bryan's trying to fight it.
Rolls through. What a counter by the technician, Daniel Bryan.
Oh, my God.
Heel hook is in.
Jericho's in trouble.
Jericho trying. Is he going to tap? Is he going to tap?
He may have no choice.
He made it to the bottom rope.
You have got to be impressed, Michael, from what we're seeing from Daniel Bryan.
Did he win yet, Byron? Daniel Bryan thinks he... Oh, breaker! You can't allow a veteran like Jericho any time to recover. You're right, Corey. That was a rookie move. And now he's going to pay for it, Byron.
That very well may be the case, Michael.
This loser's going to lose again. Lion Tamer.
Can Bryan hold on?
Tap out, nerd! You got your wish, Cole. Daniel Bryan fought valiantly, but just couldn't win the champion.
Yeah, this time, experience was just too much for Daniel Bryan.
And listen, Miz has got to be so disappointed, and I don't blame him. Luck of the draw, Miz got this loser to be his protege, and now Miz a little bit of tough love here.
Tough love? Give me a break.
Tough love.
This is ridiculous.
Miz is obviously frustrated with his star pupil.
Oh, yeah, so you're frustrated, so that's okay. Now you can beat him up?
Yeah, start winning some matches, then you won't get beat up anymore.
That's ridiculous.
Disrespect me! Huh? I'm a champion!
Miz has lost his mind.
Lying on his back, looking at the lights again.
You would think a high-profile match with the World Heavyweight Champion would solidify my status in WWE, right? Nope. Just a few months later, I was released. For those of you keeping track at home, this was the second time I was released by WWE. I thought this time I might be done with WWE for good. But not long after my release, I returned at SummerSlam. When WWE called me, they said, hey, if you want to come back, that's for the main event of SummerSlam. Main eventing SummerSlam, it's just super cool. Old school pay-per-views.
Look at The Miz. He's worked hard, he's charismatic, he's smart, he's Mr. Money in the Bank, and he's the United States Champion.
Well, Michael, he may not be one of those things if he lands in Daniel Bryan's label lock.
Bryan faced Miz in a submission match on Raw, and he made Miz tap faster than a heavy metal drummer. If that happens tonight, we'll have a new United States Champion.
Miz was saving himself. There he goes, crashing to the floor. He's inflicting some serious pain here. Suicide dive! Whatever it takes to win. Every title's on the line here tonight at Night of Champions. The Miz is no stranger to championships. At one point, he held the U.S. title and the Tag Team Championship simultaneously. And that briefcase is a near guaranteed WWE Championship win.
Okay, Michael, I know where you're going to go with this. I know what you're trying to lead to. Yes, Daniel Bryan hasn't won a title here yet, but he's only been on the roster for 8 months. Give him time.
The two of you discussed Miz's longer title reign resume than Daniel Bryan, but I have to point out that Daniel Bryan just did something Miz hasn't done yet. He main evented SummerSlam.
I mean, come on, Daniel Bryan stole that spot at SummerSlam after John Cena begged The Miz to join his team. Also, when The Miz wins here and then cashes in later tonight, he'll have plenty of main events in his future. Avoids trouble there.
This looks to be a barn burner, gentlemen. These two guys hate each other.
Corey, come on. The Miz is WWE's fastest rising star, and Daniel Bryan is a nerdy vegan. Bryan's got no chance here tonight.
He's flipped the switch, that's for sure.
Michael may have ragged on Daniel Bryan's diet, but that quote-unquote nerdy vegan is WWE's most effective. Submission expert.
And Miz is as crafty as the day is long. That makes for a pretty interesting confrontation.
Oh, this is dangerous right here.
Daniel Bryan offering some American and Japanese flavor right here.
Look at this. Will somebody please step in and stop this?
The Miz showing how A-listers do things out there.
Why would anyone, please tell me? Why would anyone root for Daniel Bryan? He's an indie internet nerd. He doesn't eat meat, he doesn't own a TV, and he has absolutely no personality, and he is a dog named Asparagus.
Oh my gosh,
How'd he do that?
I don't know, Michael, but good thing. I don't think he could have taken much more of that.
Look at that. I'd say that's getting some air.
Daniel Bryan took the Miz's spot at SummerSlam last month, and if he keeps this up, he'll take the U.S. title too.
Byron, The Miz is the future of the WWE. He has to win tonight. King, you say Daniel Bryan's a social loser and that he's the biggest nerd you've ever seen. I guess you don't have any mirrors in your house, do you? Well, that was unreal. He's looking to bring this one to the outside where things can get ugly in an instant.
Daniel Bryan may only be 8 months into his WWE career, but this is a decade-long journey for Bryan that could lead to his first taste of WWE gold here at Night of Champions.
It was March of 2000 when Daniel Bryan made his debut on the independent scene under the wing of Shawn Michaels, and we might...
Here's a cover. And a kick out, much to nobody's surprise.
That's why Bryan's considered a wrestling genius out there.
Nice job by The Miz. The Miz is doing all he can to damage Daniel Bryan, to negate that dangerous label lock.
I don't want to negate more than that. Bryan has submissions we haven't seen for years in WWE.
That's how you make an impact. Oh, look at the elbow after... Look at this. Oh, man.
Oh, boy, he is rolling.
I can't believe that Daniel Bryan even has a championship match here tonight. He may basically quit NXT. Watch it. Miz. Got him good with a neck breaker.
This one is over. Momentum.
The champion into the cover. Oh, somehow.
Close call.
This is a grueling championship match. Nobody wants to lose this opportunity.
One move after the other. It's devastating. He's flipped the switch, that's for sure.
Boy, this has just been pandemonium. Tornado DDT!
Viking DDT.
Look at this!
The Miz's grasp on the United States Championship is slowly slipping away.
No! Miz can't lose here. The bell lock, the bell lock is in!
The challenger simply... will not be denied.
But now, can Bryan make the most of this?
He's stalking his opponent from the top turnbuckle. Daniel Bryan's getting all fired up. There's a pin now. 1, 2, and the champ kicks out. Wow. Daniel. The bell lock is in.
Looks like Bryan's going to be our winner here, guys. That's one of the more impressive submissions in today's sports entertainment.
Elbow caught him right on the bridge of the nose.
Both of these superstars look like
What happens if the Miz comes up short here tonight against Daniel Bryan?
Well, it hasn't happened yet, has it, Byron?
It could be on the verge of occurring. Daniel Bryan from the top rope. Miz is in trouble.
Yeah, but look at the Miz fight back. What a warrior.
Great wherewithal from the Miz. Daniel Bryan hung out to dry. Just like that, the Miz has turned the tides in this matchup.
This is what I'm talking about. He's going for the pin. 2, 3. Yes, yes, the Miz wins. The Miz wins. Let's take a little look at some of the action from that match. Wow.
Here is your winner, and still the United States Champion, The Miz.
Daniel Bryan.
The Miz and Daniel Bryan have been polar opposites throughout their careers, making for a fierce rivalry. But the weird part is that the indie darling Daniel Bryan began in WWE as a protege of reality star The Miz on NXT.
Miz and Daniel Bryan were teammates in name only. You know, some NXT pairings, like myself and Dolph Ziggler, had excellent pro-rookie relationships. Miz and Bryan, however, hated each other from the very start.
You two brought up that acrimonious relationship between The Miz and Daniel Bryan. Miz abused Bryan, and Bryan fought back, taking Miz's spot in the SummerSlam main event, and then his United States Championship just a month later.
After laying dormant for a few years, The Miz and Daniel Bryan's hatred resurfaced in the infamous Talking Smack segment. After Daniel Bryan returned to action and pulled strings to get The Miz moved to SmackDown Live, you know this rivalry is far from over, even after 8 years.
Right to the chest.
I don't know why anyone's surprised that The Miz and Daniel Bryan's relationship has come to this. The Miz can never keep an ally on his side.
Ain't that the truth? Every person the Awesome One has won the tag titles with has ended up hating The Miz. Remember the night after Extreme Rules when the Big Show's KO punch ended Show Miz?
In position for a power bomb.
And that's not a good place to be, Cole.
And Daniel Bryan avoids the early pin.
Well, unfortunately, yes movements don't die that easily.
The two of you brought up Miz's former partnerships, and can I just point out the common element between Bryan and The Miz's old tag partners? Just like Bryan, they were all jealous of The Miz. Putting it all on the line. He's not in a good spot here, guys.
He simply needs to find a way to regroup. Look at this!
Every title's on the line here tonight at Night of Champions. The Miz is no stranger to championships. At one point, he held the U.S. title and the Tag Team Championship simultaneously. And that briefcase is a near guaranteed WWE Championship win.
Okay, Michael, I know where you're going to go with this. I know what you're trying to lead to. Yes, Daniel Bryan hasn't won a title here yet, but he's only been on the roster for 8 months. Give him time.
The two of you discussed Miz's longer title reign resume than Daniel Bryan, but I have to point out that Daniel Bryan just did something Miz hasn't done yet. He main evented SummerSlam.
I mean, come on, Daniel Bryan's, his shoulders are down. And the champ kicks out.
Oh, wow.
Nobody comes back from this. Nobody controls the pace of a match quite like this guy.
Even though Daniel Bryan did not have the best track record as an NXT rookie, I think a win tonight would make Daniel Bryan worthy of being a WWE NXT Pro. Don't you think?
If Daniel Bryan ever becomes an NXT Pro, then there's a 1% chance I'll continue doing that show. What kind of weirdo would ever take advice from Daniel Bryan? That would be like a young announcer learning from you, Byron. Dodges that one. Nicely done.
I don't know why anyone's surprised that The Miz and Daniel Bryan's relationship has come to this. The Miz can never keep an ally on his side.
Ain't that the truth? Every person the Awesome One has won tag titles with has ended up hating The Miz. Remember the night after Extreme Rules when the Big Show's KO punch ended Show Miz?
Oh, I think this man means business. The two of you brought up Miz's former partnerships, and can I just point out the common element between Bryan and The Miz's old tag partners? Just like Bryan, they were all jealous of The Miz. This guy can go toe-to-toe with anybody.
What happens if The Miz comes up short here tonight against Daniel Bryan?
Well, it hasn't happened yet, has it, Byron?
Could be on the verge of occurring. Daniel Bryan from the top rope. Miz is in trouble.
Yeah, but look at The Miz fight back. What a warrior.
Great. Where from The Miz. Daniel Bryan hung out to dry. Boom! No! Just like that, The Miz has turned the tides in this matchup.
This is what I'm talking about. The champion into the cover. And he gets the shoulder up.
Well, unfortunately, yes movements don't die that easily.
He's got his eyes set on his chest.
The Miz's grasp on the United States Championship.
And yes, Bryan may have just closed the book on this one.
The Miz getting outclassed.
Lapel lock. The lapel lock is in.
Wow, I'm just as surprised as you guys are. He did it! Daniel Bryan is U.S. champion!
No, it can't be.
Wow. I haven't seen a match like that in a long time. I might go home and watch a replay. It was that good.
Here is your winner and the new United States Champion, Daniel Bryan.
That was a fluke. The Miz slipped and Daniel Bryan somehow took advantage.
A long road for Daniel Bryan leads to the United States title.
Let's not overcomplicate things. This business is simple. It's all about wins and losses. And it sure looks to me like somebody has figured that out.
And I'll tell you, the roof nearly blew off this place in Rosemont when the bell finally rang to end this one.
After I defeated The Miz, my WWE career really started to take off. I won the Money in the Bank briefcase and then cashed it in to beat The Big Show for my first World Heavyweight Championship.
Can you believe it? Daniel. We're in Boston in a building where many great champions have been crowned, and right now, the tag team titles are on the line. The champions, Kofi Kingston and R-Truth against the unlikely team of Daniel Bryan and Kane.
Talk about an odd couple, Michael. With everything we've seen from Bryan and Kane in the past few weeks, I gotta wonder if Dr. Shelby's anger management therapy can turn these two into a cohesive unit.
What do you know about therapist, Saxton? They've been thrusted into this position while the champions have been centered around their teamwork for the past 5 months. Kane and Bryan only have anger management in common. I wouldn't call that a building block towards tag team titles.
I need to say, guys, if Daniel Bryan and Kane can work together and win here tonight, Dr. Shelby deserves a Nobel Peace Prize.
Well, I hate to burst your bubble, Cole, but I have it on good authority that Dr. Shelby isn't even a certified therapist. My sources on the health board say he dropped out of medical school to visit Tibet on some kind of spiritual excursion. The guy's a fraud.
Now that's striking with pinpoint accuracy. You can't take too many of those. Kane and Daniel Bryan are seeming to get along thus far, Corey.
Yeah, they're getting along for one reason. To get rid of that quack Dr. Shelby. Even I would try to get along with you, Cole, if it meant not listening to Dr. Shelby.
I don't know what he has planned out here, but he must be mindful of the referee's count. Back between the ropes. Daniel Bryan has so much on his mind right now. He was ballistic at a WWE.com interview. The problem is Daniel Bryan, he's a great competitor, but this crowd constantly distracts him. How can anybody do their work when this is going on?
Well, it's absolutely unfair. Bryan has to keep his anger in check while hearing the WWE Universe mock him. And then he also has to focus on his opponent. It's a lot to handle.
Look out, he's almost there. Oh, and he makes the tag.
That was a game changer right there, Michael.
We touched on how much is going through Daniel Bryan's head right now. Again, this all started when Daniel Bryan thought the fans were embracing him. And then when he realized they were actually humiliating him by repeating his yes chant, Daniel Bryan just snapped.
That's one of the reasons he seemingly has gone off the deep end as of late. And as a result, the Raw general manager forced Daniel Bryan to attend anger management therapy.
Kane showing some expert prowess here.
Ever since Kofi and R-Truth became allies, they've been on a tear in WWE. They know how to work together as a tag team. Then on the other side of the ring, judging from the last few weeks, Kane and Daniel Bryan are far from being on the same page.
Same page? Daniel and Kane aren't even reading the same book. Whereas Kofi and Truth, they're finishing each other's sentences.
We talk about being on the same page, and Truth and Kofi certainly are. But wouldn't you think Kane and Daniel Bryan's shared experience in anger management can create a chemistry of sorts?
Kofi and Truth have held those titles for 5 months. It'd be ridiculous to think that trust falls and yelling at kids wearing goat masks for a couple of weeks is going to get you the same kind of chemistry that tag team champions have.
He's inflicting some serious pain here. You know, Byron, Kane and Daniel Bryan almost accidentally stumbled into this title opportunity when they defeated the prime-time players on last week's Raw.
I can tell you it was no accident when Kane delivered a...
There it is. The tag has been made.
Oh, he needed that in the worst way, Michael.
Look out. There he goes.
Knocked right off his feet.
Kane has held 11 tag team titles in his career.
Yeah, there's a chance for 12, but Daniel Bryan's going to have to help.
Trap the arm.
Oh boy, he is rolling.
You know, I have to say, I have seen some progress in Kane and Daniel Bryan's anger management. I don't think they are all the way there, but there's been definite progress.
I see it too, Michael. We don't see Daniel screaming in the face of fans anymore. He's keeping his composure pretty well, and Kane...
Here we go. R-Truth setting it up.
He's a spinning ball of energy.
Kane wants to put this away.
In comparing Daniel Bryan and Kane with a
vice-like grip on his opponent's skull.
This just might be enough for him to take the victory here. Come on, R-Truth, you can do this. And R-Truth evades that one.
In off the tag.
Leading up to this match, a lot of praise was thrown on Kofi and R-Truth. Kofi being a 3-time Intercontinental Champion and both having time as United States Champion.
Well, he's got him covered. And he breaks up the pinfall.
Let's keep fighting.
Oh, going to the top. High risk. Elbow drop. Oh, no, he's taken down.
You know, I don't think he has much left.
Oh, man, what a hit.
Knocked right off the apron, bringing up Daniel Bryan's time as World Heavyweight Champion. He did lose that title in only 18 seconds to Sheamus at WrestleMania.
Why? Going for the big one. That might have hurt his head just as much.
Here's his moment, Michael. That's one way to get your frequent flyer miles.
Whoa, he lets him out.
What a fool. He had him dead to rights.
Guys, when the WWE Universe has the power on Monday Night Raw, they can be really nutty. Case in point, a few weeks ago, the WWE Universe voted on social media to have Daniel Bryan and Kane hug it out in the middle of the ring. Yes, folks, hug it out.
Yeah, it was not a sight we usually see in a WWE ring. Kane and Daniel appeared to be two people that have never given a hug in their whole life. An awkward moment that showed they both still had a ways to go in their anger management.
There might be no getting up from that DDT.
All the questions of will Kane and Daniel Bryan be able to coexist looking like a moot point right now. So, Michael, let me ask you, did Daniel Bryan's anger management issues begin way back in April at WrestleMania, when Bryan, who was World Heavyweight Champion at the time, lost his title to Sheamus in a record 18 seconds? It's been haunting Daniel Bryan for months.
Yes, it did. Listen, Daniel Bryan confessed that WrestleMania was the most embarrassing moment of his whole life, and that's including the time his fiancée left him at the altar. Come to think of it, that was this year, too. I can't blame Daniel for feeling some stress. Maybe the WWE Universe is still getting into the head of Daniel Bryan here. And that's the tag to Kofi Kingston.
Address R-Truth and Little Jimmy, please. If anyone needs Dr. Shelby, it's R-Truth. The guy's seeing things. He's holding ropes to let an imaginary person into the ring. Forget Daniel Bryan and Kane. Someone please help R-Truth.
I think R-Truth is doing just fine. This week, WWE.com had a pictorial about Little Jimmy's family. Portraits like Little Jimmy and a birthday party hat. Pretty fabulous. Kofi Kingston with the offense.
Cole, I was reaching out to get R-Truth help for his imaginary delusion, but you're here enabling self-destructive behavior. We know what having imaginary friends well into adulthood can do to a person. We've seen what it's done to Saxton.
Well, I would have to refute that, okay? I'm a well-adjusted adult gentleman with many real-world friends, too. Thank you very much.
Here comes Daniel Bryan sending Kingston across the ring.
And Daniel Bryan looking to put Kofi Kingston away for the tag team titles. Drop kick. Kingston's in trouble.
The Kane are in peril. The Big Red Machine making the long climb to the top rope.
I think Bryan wanted Kane to make the tag.
Oh, not at all. He felt like he was in control. Now Kane is heading up top.
It's just a matter of time till this team implodes. We know they can't stand each other.
Kingston.
Look at Bryan. Bryan is hanging onto the ankle of Kane.
Kingston.
Crash and burn.
And now Daniel Bryan. Shoved away by Kane.
Hilarious.
Bryan with a shot to Kane.
What is
And
happening?
there's Kane on the top rope. Splash. Into a cover. New tag team champion.
Oh my God.
No way.
Yes way.
I cannot believe what we just saw.
WWE Tag Team Champions Daniel Bryan
Can't stand each other.
and Kane.
But now they're tag team champions.
Kane can't believe it. Daniel Bryan is celebrating.
No amount of therapy could have prepared the WWE Universe for this. This is going to be a disaster.
Can you imagine Kane and Daniel Bryan as tag team champions?
We don't have to imagine it. It's a reality.
And it's weird.
I guess anger management worked, well, at least somewhat, right?
Team champions! I am the tag team champions! I am the tag
Look at
team
this. Can't even agree who the real champion is.
champions!
both of them,
The tag team champions! I am the tag team champions!
This is going to be interesting to watch.
There's obviously no argument here. They both won the titles.
They can't even enjoy the victory together.
Oh, watch out.
The Big Red Machine certainly not pleased with the situation, but he can call himself one half of the tag team champions.
Team Hell No had a great run, but like most tag teams, Kane and I eventually went our separate ways, and I returned to pursuing my goal of winning singles titles.
I need to win the WWE Championship.
It was around this time I had a series of matches with Randy Orton that would have a much greater effect on my career than I could ever imagine. I put a lot of pressure on myself during this because Randy was really the first real top guy that I had a rivalry with. If I could do well with Randy, that puts you even to another level. I felt I had a lot to prove, which led to some very hard-hitting and physical contests. I got pretty banged up, but I was determined to fight through it and not let it slow me down. So much so that I went on to face Randy Orton in a street fight rematch on Raw.
A sold-out Raw here in Charleston, South Carolina. Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton started the night with a double disqualification, but they will settle things in the main event with a street fight.
Randy Orton called Daniel Bryan a weak link. Kane called Daniel Bryan a weak link. Bryan is here to prove that he is not a weak link.
Tall order as he faces 9-time WWE champion Randy Orton.
He's displaying classic offense here. Oh, I think this man means business.
I didn't think technical wrestling wizard Daniel Bryan could hold his own in a street fight, but he's doing pretty well so far.
We're really starting to see the versatility in Bryan's repertoire here.
Yeah, but a versatile repertoire means nothing if Orton can pull off an RKO out of nowhere. Daniel Bryan has a major task ahead of him tonight. He's got to beat a man with just about every accolade on his resume in the form of Randy Orton.
Yeah, Corey, you're not kidding. Orton has held the Intercontinental Championship, the Tag Team Championship, he's won the Royal Rumble, and has been WWE Champion 9 times.
The human body can only absorb so much of that. compared Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan's accolades before, and Daniel Bryan has a decent resume too, as he's won Money in the Bank and has held the U.S. title, tag team titles, and the world title one time each.
That's just it, Cole. Bryan's had a taste of success. Orton's been feasting on it forever.
This is a level of destruction no one was expecting. So damaging.
Orton's starting to falter a bit, and you can tell it's starting to frustrate the Viper.
A street fight should be Orton's forte, but he's facing an extremely motivated Daniel Bryan.
Randy Orton has had rage issues, and Daniel Bryan is no stranger to anger management. Who has the advantage in a twisted match like this?
Yes. There's a world of difference between how Bryan and Orton process their anger. Orton's turned it into a Hall of Fame career. Bryan suffered some of his worst losses due to his mental issues.
We're seeing two favorites of the WWE Universe battle it out here, and it's fitting that the WWE Universe voted for this to be a street fight.
The hashtags have been trending all night on social media, but the people picked a street fight over a Falls Count Anywhere and a lumberjack match. I normally disagree with the people, but they made a good call here tonight.
It's kind of a shame that Orton and Bryan are fighting tonight, and that they will also be brawling with Kane in the Money in the Bank match, since those three men are the only trio to pin or submit the Shield in a six-man tag team match.
It's even more impressive when you consider the trios that fell to the Shield. At WrestleMania, Orton, Sheamus, and The Big Show failed. On the Raw 2 weeks after WrestleMania, Team Hell No and The Undertaker couldn't do it. Last week, Team Hell No and Orton fought.
I think this is the beginning of the end.
You have to possess a different type of focus to punish an opponent like this.
I'm not surprised that Randy Orton couldn't make it as a tag team partner for Daniel Bryan. He hasn't had the best track record with allies this year.
That's true, Byron. Orton put his neck out for the Big Show to help him and Sheamus take on the Shield at WrestleMania. That match ended with Big Show punching out both his partners.
He doesn't want to do this outside the ring. We're witnessing a level of punishment that can only be described as severe.
Look at this.
You two gentlemen mentioned Orton's bad luck with tag partners. After Big Show's betrayal, Sheamus and Orton couldn't get along. It's a minor miracle that Orton helped Team Hell No beat the Shield.
Needless to say, I don't think we'll be seeing Orton teaming up with anyone in that locker room for quite some time after tonight.
A street fight is apropos for Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton, seen as both men will take part in a Money in the Bank ladder match in 3 weeks' time.
All the weapons we'll see Bryan and Orton sling tonight is just a prelude to the unforgiving steel ladders at play in a Money in the Bank match.
What a match! You two brought up the upcoming Money in the Bank match. Don't forget that Kane's in that match too. I wonder if Bryan's going to be able to stay sane with so many agitating factors in play in that match.
I think Daniel Bryan will thrive, actually. He's won Money in the Bank more recently than Kane, and Randy Orton still hasn't won Money in the Bank after multiple attempts. And Randy Orton just slips out of harm's way. like being called a weak link, but these attacks have to be weakening Daniel Bryan.
Well, if this keeps up, the GOAT may be soon led to slaughter.
Daniel Bryan has been consumed with the idea that he's a weak link due to his performances in tag team competition as of late.
Well, Bryan tends to be consumed by just about every minor annoyance, but he did take the pin in 3 straight tag team championship losses to the Shield.
Oh boy, he is rolling.
They get dangerous out here, especially when there are no countouts.
Bringing back up Daniel Bryan as a weak link. Note that he's not sorry he let Kane down when he cost Team Hell No the tag titles, or that he failed Randy Orton in their quest for the tag titles. Bryan's just thinking about himself here.
Look, Bryan may have faltered in those matches, but Bryan was also the guy who got Seth Rollins to tap out for the Shield's first ever 6-man tag team loss. He can obviously be a team player, but right now, Bryan is out to prove he's a single superstar.
Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan are both as tough as they come, and this is a matter of pride between both men. These are 2 guys you don't want to lose, especially to each other.
Look, we did see things get heated earlier tonight, but I think there's still a level of respect here. Neither is going to cheat to defeat the other. It's all about proving that you are the best.
He's inflicting some serious pain here.
Saxton, you were blathering about these guys being respectful, and I got to dispute you. Orton's done some despicable things to get ahead, and Bryan certainly wasn't respectful when he cashed in Money in the Bank on the Big Show. You do what you can to get ahead in this industry.
Corey, that's all in the past. The WWE Universe loves both these.
Brings down his opponent, and here it is, Corey. And walks in. What's Randy Orton going to do?
Will the Viper tap out? Orton's in serious trouble.
Trying to drag himself to the ropes, but remember, the ropes aren't going to cause a break here.
Guys.
He is in the street fight. Orton with a kendo stick.
Whoa! Repeated strikes with a kendo stick. Orton wearing the weapon out on Daniel Bryan's body.
Just what the WWE's Apex Predator needs is a weapon.
It's all perfectly legal.
Now you will find absolutely, oh my God, no remorse whatsoever from Randy Orton.
All the frustration inside the Viper bubbling over. Orton's like a man possessed. This won't end well.
And he's got Bryan on the second rope. Randy Orton could be closing in on a victory. Oh, vintage Orton with a DDT.
I think that's the beginning of the end, gentlemen. Randy Orton seems to be preparing to go to that place.
Randy Orton is focused. Randy Orton could be closing in on victory.
Looking for the RKO. No.
Backslide by Bryan. Shoulders are down. Oh, Orton kicks out. Now and a kick by Daniel Bryan, and now kendo stick in hand. And Bryan unloading on Orton.
Bryan returning the favor.
No, he reverses it. That lands.
The Viper getting absolutely pounded right now. Randy Orton got the worst end of that stick.
Daniel Bryan using the kendo stick for leverage. And Orton taps out. Randy Orton taps out.
What a win for Daniel Bryan.
Career-defining win for Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan with one of the biggest victories of his career.
And we knew it was going to be a physically grueling battle between Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton, and boy, did Bryan earn this.
Gotta give it up to him. Gotta give it.
It is now time for me to tell you whom I've selected to compete against me for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam.
After my series of matches with Randy Orton, I really started gaining momentum.
Weeks of anticipation finally leads to this, the most polarizing individual
WWE history, John Cena against a man with an incredible groundswell of support, Daniel Bryan. Will the 11-time WWE Champion retain his title, or will we enter the era of Bryan? It's been a long time since we've seen someone be as hot with the WWE Universe as Daniel Bryan has been in recent months. I mean, we haven't seen this kind of electric momentum since guys like The Rock, or even Bryan's opponent, John Cena.
Bryan sees Cena as an entertainer, while Daniel calls himself a wrestler, and a more superior one than Cena. The champion disagrees. We'll see who's right tonight.
Oh, I think this man means business.
These are two men who are proud of who they are. Daniel Bryan calling John Cena a parody of a wrestler. And in turn, Cena saying Daniel doesn't belong in the same class as The Rock, Shawn Michaels, Batista, all men Cena has beaten.
On the topic of Cena and Bryan being proud superstars, pride is woven into the fabric of both men. And Daniel Bryan does not feel respected by John Cena. Daniel Bryan is hopefully on his way to greatness, but he's not at John Cena's level yet.
John's just trying to teach Daniel a lesson. What's Daniel's catchphrase? Respect the beard? Respect in WWE is earned. Bryan could be hot right now, but only if he's good enough to take John Cena's title. Then he'll earn Cena's respect.
Guys, there's a stark difference in the accolades between Daniel Bryan and John Cena. Bryan's never held the WWE.
Yeah, I don't believe that he didn't win this match right there.
He isn't going to go away that easy. Full Nelson applied.
Too quick for him there.
Again, guys, John Cena is an 11-time WWE champion. Daniel Bryan just wants it once. He wants to be the WWE champion for one reason, and it's not for the fame or the glory. It's so everybody would know that whenever he steps foot in the ring, there is nobody better than him.
In Daniel Bryan's eyes, this is the biggest match of his life. While for John Cena, this is just another SummerSlam. It's hunger versus content.
Daniel Bryan's been showing shades of his former mentor, Shawn Michaels, here tonight.
Well, Cena's very familiar with Michaels, but Bryan has a greater striking game than HBK ever did.
I'm so glad to see Triple H step up to be the referee tonight. He's been a big supporter of Daniel Bryan and only wants to see Daniel get a fair shot at the title tonight. Something I don't believe Mr. McMahon wants.
Well, Triple H sees the drive in Daniel Bryan, and sure, he went over the boss's head when he inserted himself as a referee, but a match of this magnitude needs someone impartial, someone who's going to call it straight down the middle, and Triple H is that guy.
No, he reverses it.
He's making a statement here with this attack.
These two competed against each other 10 years ago on an episode of WWE Velocity, in a time before John Cena brought us into an era of ruthless aggression.
10 years is a very long time, Michael, and Daniel and John have been on a distinctively different path since that night.
Incoming.
This is the Cena that's just about unstoppable.
Byron said these two have been on different journeys since they first met, Corey. Daniel Bryan believes this path has given him a deeper love for our sport.
Well, in Daniel's opinion, if John Cena were fired tomorrow, he'd go back to his mansion and his multi-million-dollar lifestyle and never wrestle again.
If Daniel Bryan gets fired, and it has happened, if Bryan gets fired, you'll see him in every armory, every gymnasium that's filled with 30 people in a wrestling ring because Daniel Bryan loves wrestling.
He's inflicting some serious pain here.
Interesting quote from John Cena at the sub. Big move coming. Wait for it.
Daniel Bryan is putting up more than a hell of a fight right now.
Dropped him with a big shoulder tackle.
Oh boy, he is rolling.
Oh no!
I want to answer John Cena's question from Tuesday's press conference. I think Daniel Bryan's been on a road of defining himself. You see the excitement from the WWE Universe? It isn't too dissimilar to the rise we've seen with guys like...
Big move coming. Wait for it.
I think this man means business.
Wow, I'm just as surprised as you guys are. Hopefully John Cena can recover.
And he got a near fall out of it.
How'd he do that?
Move. I need to describe to you guys Daniel Bryan's disapproval of John Cena. Calling John Cena a parody, Daniel Bryan doesn't approve of John's look or how he acts. Calls John Cena an entertainer, not a wrestler.
Yeah, but Bryan's not the first guy to say it. John Cena's what's wrong with wrestling. To say, we've had enough of the 5 moves.
He might have it.
The yes lock! The yes lock is applied! I don't know, is that enough to stop Cena? Hopefully John Cena can recover.
Speaking of Bryan's disapproval of John Cena, Cena did get emotional on Raw a couple of weeks ago. John saying that, I'm not going to change for Daniel Bryan. I'm not going to change for anyone.
Cena's heard it all before. He's been in hostile environments. He's had his critics. But as long as there are still people who are loyal to John Cena will fight for them and be loyal to who he is.
There's something we should address, something we need to think of. Randy Orton has been playing mind games with both of these men in recent weeks. Orton possesses the Money in the Bank contract. He can cash it in at any time. It's just something else these two need to keep in mind.
John Cena with a nice reversal. Now that's the type of move that sends a message to an opponent.
His shoulders are down. And an easy kick out.
That's too early for that.
Michael, you remind us of Randy Orton possibly lurking in the shadows with that Money in the Bank contract. The Viper could be more like a vulture tonight if he chooses to cash in that contract.
I don't think either John or Daniel have any room in their mind to be thinking about anything else other than the task at hand, gentlemen.
Big move coming. Wait for it.
That landed perfectly. Are we looking at yet another John Cena victory here? That is exactly what John Cena needed.
Hooked up and
Clearly on a mission here.
Looks like both these superstars have found that little extra something to keep themselves going here tonight.
Going after the back here. This is what makes him one of the best in the business. He'll be feeling the effects of that for a while.
This is the Cena that's just about unstoppable.
reversal by John Cena.
Big time takedown right there. This might just be it for him, Michael. And look at the quickness by Cena.
When this guy's on, look out.
He's too quick for him there.
Boom! Oh, what an uppercut.
Jarring.
He's looking at it.
Just a dizzying supply of kicks.
Just when you thought he had nothing left.
Now that was an impressive series of moves.
Shoulders on the mat. And he got a near fall out of it.
Wow, that's pure power, guys.
There's got to be some point in the match where those thoughts start to creep in that it could be over. And then you got to dig down deep. Get rid of the self-doubt and continue on toward victory. Quick thinking to avoid that one.
You're not going to win many matches absorbing punishment like that. What a brutal beating we've seen dished out so far here tonight.
You have to think that's it. I don't know. Is that enough to stop Cena?
The yes lock is applied. Will his opponent tap?
This one's over, guys.
Whoa, he lets him out. What a fool. He had him dead to rights.
Could this be John Cena out-wrestling Daniel Bryan?
Cena proving he can wrestle with the best of them. showing off some of his speed there. And Cena pops the shoulder up.
He's still in this.
It's got to be hard to rebound. Schoolboy out of nowhere. 1, 2. Oh, how resilient was that?
He needs to change something fast, guys.
Oh, Schoolboy!
Oh.
He's got him down. Is this it?
Oh, boy, he is rolling.
2. And he got a near fall out of it. Ow! Ow!
From what we've seen and heard tonight, there must be serious injuries.
He's going for the pin. This could be it. Oh, my. How in the world did he kick out of that?
What a match.
What's this? He gets him with a reversal.
I don't know how these superstars are doing it right now. They've got to be exhausted.
I think this is the beginning of the end. Going for an encore here.
Warm up the bus. This one is over.
Cena with a nice reversal.